4-1 your final here at Copps Coliseum. The Chicago Wolves over the Hamilton Bulldogs. Laura Barney with Derek Wills. And as always, Derek, we'll start with your thoughts on that game. Do you think fatigue might have been a big issue here where we are at the end of a 3-3?
I think fatigue was definitely a factor. It's always tough to play 3 games in 3 days, but this was an especially tough 3-3 weekend for the Hamilton Bulldogs because they played at home. Big game against the Toronto Marlies on Friday. A lot of emotion in that game with the big crowd on hand and so much on the line. And right after that game, what was normally a 4-hour bus ride from Hamilton to Cleveland turned into a 5-hour bus ride because of the poor road conditions with snow and wind and all the things you don't want when you're traveling 4 or 5 hours by bus. And then a really taxing game against the Lake Erie Monsters last night, a game that had 8 goals and 7 fights and was grueling from start to finish. And then after that, again, a 5-hour bus ride from Cleveland to Hamilton after the game. It was a little bit longer because of the road conditions and the weather again. So the team didn't get in until about 5 a.m. And I can tell you that I'm tired. And I'm tired after calling 3 games this weekend. So I can only imagine how the guys feel after playing 3 tough games this weekend. So you could see the Hamilton Bulldogs didn't have their normal jump. They weren't executing as well as they normally do. And I think fatigue was probably the biggest factor in today's hockey game.
So with that said, Derek, though, this team has a better winning record on the road. Why do you think that is?
It's hard to explain. And the Hamilton Bulldogs don't try to play any differently at home than they do on the road. I think it's probably more a coincidence than anything. They've run into some pretty tough opponents here at Copps Coliseum, and they do have a history of not playing great games in front of big crowds, and I think we saw a little bit of that on Friday against the Toronto Marlies, but I don't think you should read too much into that. The Hamilton Bulldogs are a good hockey team, and good teams find ways to win on the road. It is a team that has to find ways to win at home, though. They've played more games here at Copps Coliseum than any team has in their home arena so far this season, so winning at home is crucial.
All right, Derek, you mentioned that this team has played more games at home. That's about to change. They're going on a long road trip. Can you give us a preview of what's to come?
Yeah, it's going to be a long road trip, that's for sure. A 6-game, 11-day road trip, which starts on Thursday with a long day of travel from Hamilton to Toronto, Toronto to Vancouver, Vancouver to Abbotsford. A couple of games against the Heat next Friday and Saturday when the Hamilton Bulldogs will have to try to shut down their all-time leading scorer, Corey Locke, who was traded there last week. And then from there, the team will bus to Seattle and then fly to Chicago, spend a couple of days in Chicago practicing, and then bus to Rockford to play the Ice Hogs on the Wednesday, or on the Tuesday, and then from there they'll bus to Milwaukee to play the Admirals on the Wednesday, and then after that they'll bus back to Chicago, fly to Buffalo, bus to Ottawa to play against the Binghamton Senators at Canadian Tire Centre on the Friday. Then after that they bus right to Toronto to play the Marlies on the Saturday. So a pretty action-packed schedule for the Hamilton Bulldogs. Some tough teams in there as well.
All right, Derek, thank you very much for your thoughts as always. We'll see you back here on February 15th, and we're going to see what our coaches had to say.
Well, I think we have to give some credit to the Chicago Wolves. They play a very solid hockey game. They were ready for it. And right from the first period, they took the momentum on their side and they kept it all game. So it was tough for us. After traveling and playing a very tough game in Lake Erie last night, it seems like we were a bit in search of energy and playing catch-up hockey. After 3 games and 3 nights, I thought it was a tough game for us, physically and energetically. We certainly try to figure out why we have not performed as well at home than we do on the road. Obviously, we really like to play in front of our fans. I think that some games we did play very well, but without getting the result. Like Friday against the Marlies, I thought that we played a solid hockey game, but we ran into a hot goaltender. But today, again, we fell short. Chicago controlled the puck, managed the puck properly. They were in possession of the puck most of the night. Our forechecking had trouble to retrieve that puck. So sometimes you get beat by a better opponent. And yes, we were tired. We spent a lot of energy during the weekend. But tonight we have to concede the game to the Wolves. They were the better team tonight.